Here. So the other day I was watching one of my favorite advice givers slash life coaches, Matthew Hussey, and he was on a program with these two women in the States. And I found out that Matthew Hussey is 26, and this guy gives people so much good, solid life advice. Like, kudos to you, Matthew Hussey. But I was like, hey, I'm 26, I can totally do that. And I have some stuff that I want to share with people because I feel like it would help support them. So here is me giving back to you, and hopefully this will help. So I wanted to do a really quick video about breakups. Now, breakups are something a little bit taboo. We don't really talk about them, and we don't really know how to deal with them. We all know how to find new partners and how to romance people and how to get people interested in us, but when it comes to dealing with the pain of a breakup, it's not something that we have a lot of support or really know what to do. And so I wanted to just fill that gap and offer some I guess, advice. I think I have a few tips, and I'm going to give them to you. And if they work for you, great. And if they don't work for you, it's okay. But these are things that really help me. So the first thing is focus on yourself. And I mean that in lots of different ways, okay? So you focus on yourself by, one, don't get caught up in like Facebook, stalking, drama, stuff. You know, every time you go on your ex's page and you look at their stuff, you're really hurting yourself. And you know this. You know you're hurting yourself. So just, like, don't do it. Each time you go and stalk your ex, it's like stabbing yourself. So don't do it. Block them from Facebook. Delete them from Facebook. And if you don't have the heart to do that right now, then delete your own Facebook account, just for self-preservation. You can get your own Facebook account back really quickly. And instead of stalking your ex on Facebook, what I recommend is find a support group. Like, there's lots of online support groups or forums where people are dealing with breakups as well. And that can be more beneficial to your healing than checking up on what your ex is doing. So focus on yourself in that way. Another way to focus on yourself is to put a lot of energy into things that are good for you. Like, when I was going through a very bad breakup, I did a lot of painting. And that really, really helped, because instead of focusing my energy on this negative situation, I was focused, which was a bit of a black hole, I was focusing on kind of creating something which for myself. Like, in fact, I can show you one of my pictures down below, or yeah, I'll link my Facebook page, and you can see I made a lot of art, and I created a lot of beautiful paintings. And in fact, my painting style completely changed. Because I just felt more free with it, and I was like, oh, I don't really care. I mean, I'm just going through this really bad time, and I'm just experimenting. And I was amazed at how much creativity, came out of me. So focus on yourself in that way instead of focusing on something really bad. Put your energy into something that's good for you. Okay, so that's what you need to do. Another thing is, so we're talking about focusing on yourself. So you need to be good to yourself right now, because you're going through a grieving process, and that is really difficult. So you need to be okay with your feelings. Okay, if you're feeling really sad, it's okay. If you feel like you need to cry it out. I think that you need to be comfortable with how you feel. You need to accept your feelings, and remember that your feelings are temporary, and they're actually kind of like an energy that is trying to pass through you. So let them pass through you, and don't block them. And if you feel angry, be angry. So just be accepting and comfortable with your feelings. And it's the same for men and women. Men and women are going to both cry and get angry. And you just be okay with that, and that's fine. You need to heal. And that's what the feelings are coming out for. They're coming out so that they're healing. Okay? Another way that you can be good to yourself is accepting your feelings, but also exercising. Endorphins, it's like the most obvious thing in the world, but it's the hardest thing to do when you're in the throes of depression or you're really sad about a breakup. But if you can exercise at all, it's just amazing, because I think it does help get some negative feelings out as well. Like, when you're really tired, like you've run for ages and you're like really, really tired afterwards, like I think it gets frustration and anger out, as well as being good for your body, as well as being physically beneficial, as well as being full of giving you endorphins and happy hormones. So exercise is really important. Gratitude diaries, most simple thing in the world. Write down 5 things every day that you're thankful for, and you will feel so different, because it's so easy to just kind of have our attention going and our focus going onto that thing that's upsetting us and causing us pain. write a gratitude diary and you'll feel so much better. So write down 5 things every day that you're thankful for. Another thing would be to take time to reflect on now when you're kind of in pain. It's very good to discover where did this pain actually come from, because sometimes we have situations in our childhood and in our pasts, and they actually affect our choice of partners in the present moment. And now is a really good time to say, well, is there any kind of connection between this relationship and what's happened in my childhood? Am I trying to resolve something from my childhood in this relationship? Am I trying to resolve something with an ex-partner in this relationship? And if you can kind of take the time to reflect and figure out your patterns, and maybe if they're negative patterns, then you won't encounter as much heartbreak in the future, and it's such a beneficial thing to do for yourself. There are many books about this. I would recommend Women Who Love Too Much, or any books about codependency for figuring out your patterns. Okay, so figuring out your patterns. The next thing I would say is unresolved stuff with your ex. If if your ex has done something really shitty and you're trying to figure out why, you can drive yourself insane thinking about that, because you're never really going to know. So if you have unresolved stuff that you need to talk to your ex about, the best thing to do is, although we feel like contacting them, and sometimes we do contact them, drunk Facebook messages or drunk text messages, the best thing to do though is really take time for yourself to actually deal with what it is that's spinning around in your head, and write it all out. Write an unsendable letter. Best thing you ever did, because it'll stop it from spinning around in your head. And if you need to write 5 unsendable letters, do it. And if you need to get angry, do it. And be very genuine in your letters, okay? And it really helps. And it really helps just get everything out that you need to say. So that's very good. And the last thing that I would say is, there's this philosophy in spirituality that when people come into our lives and they hurt us, they're teaching us actually lessons. And they're kind of highlighting things to us in ourselves that we're not loving and accepting about ourselves. And sometimes when someone hurts you that much, it's because they're highlighting things that you are not loving and accepting in yourself, okay, or in yourself. So, if you can switch the way that you perceive the breakup into something positive. This person was actually trying to teach me a lot of stuff about myself and self-love and self-acceptance. Then it's easier to forgive them. And I think always towards the end of the healing process, you want to aim to forgive your ex, because if you hold on to resentment, you can carry that around with you for many, many years. I have family members who have been resentful for 50 years plus, and you know what? It's not done them any good. They haven't been able to fully move on. They're bitter, and they never really heal, or they didn't kind of open themselves up to being with someone else. So if you hold on to bitterness, fair enough, but it's going to affect you more than it's going to affect the other person. If you forgive the other person, you're kind of being spiritually aware, first of all, and you're being kind of smart for yourself, because you're saying, well, like, this person's really hurt me. I've learned my lessons now, but I'm also ready to move on, and I'm understanding that I deserve better treatment. So forgive the other person who has hurt you, and aim to forgive. And it's the same as the unsendable letters. Sometimes you can't just forgive somebody once. Sometimes you'll get anger and pain coming up again and again, and just keep forgiving until you feel like it's all done. Because when you forgive, you're really free. You're free to love again, and you're free to allow someone else to love you. So forgive them and forgive yourself for anything that's gone on in the relationship. Don't blame yourself. And just remember that, that there is no exact science to healing. Everything takes its own time. But you can be proactive, and there are things that you can do to help yourself. And there's so much support. And if you want to contact me. I will leave my Facebook page below, and you can send me a message. Remember, there's so much love out there for you. So don't, just because this love has ended, it doesn't mean that you should give up on love, okay? And don't give up on yourself, okay? Be good to you, and feel my love for you. Oh. Okay, take care of yourself. Bye.